Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now exclusively on Spotify, powered by Anchor. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host, and welcome back to the show. If this is your first time, then I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have here only on Spotify. And if this is your nth time listening to the podcast, then welcome back. I am so excited that you're here. It just means that you are invested in personal development. It means that you are taking that next step to just be better. And I'm super excited to be here because now we have a returning guest. And I know a lot of you guys requested for this episode. You loved our previous episode where we basically talked about success and all of those things. And now we get to deep dive into one of the topics that I feel like we need to talk about. But before that, let me welcome again one of the most inspirational people on the planet, Coach Russ Juson. Coach Russ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here again. I'm excited.
I'm super excited. And again, Coach, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy here with us. And let's just continue from where we kind of ended from our previous episode. There's a lot of things that we didn't really cover. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about here is really about relationships. Because I, again, attended one of Coach Russ's programs, which is Discovery. And I got a lot of personal development things during the program. But one of the biggest positive changes that I've experienced is that I was able to rebuild broken relationships. And I was able to build healthier ones. So let's try to talk about rebuilding old relationships. So how can you rebuild a broken relationship?
I think we have to understand that whatever relationship that you have or I have with people outside myself is a direct reflection of the relationship I have with myself. So which means if my relationship external, like a love life, family, business, clients, is not working, it's a direct reflection of the kind of relationship with the kind of relationship that I have with myself. So therefore, whatever relationship I want to build outside, it's a matter of being aware that the relationship I have deep inside with me is actually a direct reflection of what's going on external. So that's what I understand. Working with people worldwide for 15 years, I understand that every relationship that is working and that is not working is a direct, reflection of what's going on inside with how I am in relationship with myself. So that's maybe my, key point of how I view relationship in my life, whether it's personal or professional or romantic. It's all about how am I connected with myself and how really that deep connection I have with myself, so I can actually translate this to any relationship I have in my life.
So I love that, Coach. I think there's a famous saying, as within, so without. So everything that happens externally is a reflection of what's happening internally. And that also applies with relationships. Now, one thing that I want to ask for people who are wondering, okay, if we're going to start with the relationship that we have to ourselves, how do we rebuild that? How do we rebuild the relationship that we have in ourselves?
I think it has to start again with awareness, and making sure that you are aware that if you want to have a beautiful working relationship with anyone around you, you have to understand that 99% of that is me. So when you are aware right now on how you can do that, it is now speaking around how you can do that. And we always talk about love language, right? And the level of relationship you have with other people is depending on how you are as a gift to other people. But basically, we always hear, you cannot give what you don't have. So if you have someone in your life who's always giving you, frustration, upset, not because they want to give that to you, it's simply because that's what they have inside and that's what they can offer to you. But if you have someone who's out there, loving, accepting no matter what, happy and excited, not because of what's going on outside them, but because that's what's it inside. So basically, the awareness of how am I, okay? Happy with myself. That's why they always say, no? For me, there's no such thing as lonely, or simply because you can only be lonely if you don't like the person who you are alone with. So how do you do that? It's really rebuilding that relationship with yourself first, so that when you start to rebuild and grow and connect and really be your own best friend, that you like yourself no matter what, you bring that to anyone and everyone in your life. No? And your question is how? I would always go back to the 5 love language. So which means the most important among the 5 love language, no, if we may review, it's affirmation, physical touch, time, okay, gifts, and acts of kindness. So I would always say part of what I do on a day-to-day basis, so that I can actually be in a relationship with anyone, most loving, no, to anyone, okay? Especially with people who are perceived to be the hardest to be in a relationship with. I love to be in project with that, because I can turn out the worst relationship to be the best relationship, simply because I take time with myself every single day. Meaning, I spend a minimum 1 hour to at least 4 hours solid time with myself. Because if I may ask you, Alec, if you want to build a relationship with somebody else, what's the most important tool that you can use?
I think just acting out of kindness or caring for that other person.
And the way you do that is to spend quality
Time.
and quantity time alone.
Yeah.
So what do I do with my quality and quantity time alone? Okay, affirmation, right? It's an intention that I use that I really do up until now, so that every time I meet someone and everyone, the first thing that comes out into my is all about affirmation, okay, appreciation. Why? Because that's overflowing deep inside.
Yeah. And I think you also highlighted the point. That's why it's when you meet a person, you always affirm them. Because for me, it's the simplest tool of the 5 love languages that you can easily replicate. Like a lot of people are holding back, even just giving compliments, like saying, "I love your eyes. You look beautiful today." But it's the easiest one to give, right? It's much harder to like give someone a hug or give them a gift or acts of service around it. But if it's affirmation, it's just words. You can simply use it. And another thing that I loved about what you said, Coach, was, it's not really that you're scared or you're afraid to be alone. It's just that you don't like the person that you're with when you're alone, and that's yourself. And so I want to highlight on that, Coach, because I know now you're here, you're talking about these concepts, but was there ever a time in your life that you didn't really like yourself, and what did you do to change that?
So I'm 51 right now. I think from 0 all the way to age 35 was the worst. Age 35 is I didn't really like who I was before, and I did not connect to who I am, and it was all external. It was all about love me, approve me, like me. So I was running after external approval. Okay, I was running after proving, and I've put out a lot of hard work. Okay, running after success, which is money and recognition, for people to love me and approve of me. And one thing I realized, okay, while I'm running after external things, the more I'm far away from who I am. So what I did was really, it was by accident. I met a life coach. And as a life coach, the job of a life coach is just to ask questions. And I think the most important question here is, how do you like you? And that's why, wow, that is all where, the anxiety, the upset, things that are not working in my old relationship, simply because if I don't like me, I tend to be, critical about myself. I tend to be hard on myself, and therefore, because that's how I treat me, then I bring that to any other relationship in my life, especially people who I don't have any business with. Because again, we can be very selective with relationship, right? If you know you're gonna get business from other people, then you can just be the best human being for them.
Uh-huh.
But if there are some people who who needs you, then you can be mean to them, not because they deserve it, because maybe you're also mean to yourself.
That I love it. You just put things into a wider perspective. But for people who are listening that are kind of new to the personal development and all of this, things that we're doing, like it's so hard to actually create a relationship with someone you don't like, because there's I don't know where it's coming from, but it's just so hard. It's much easier for you to build a relationship that that they're also be able to receive that kind of relationship or something that you're giving. So how are you going to approach someone, or how are you going to build a relationship with someone who's not really whose walls are up, who's not really receiving all that kind of
Okay, so let's say these people are perceived to be unlovable.
also like harsh people, like very
harsh, ugly, nasty, and perceived to be unlovable. Okay, so there are really people out there who's like that. My goal ever since is to look for those people so I can test myself out, so that I know that whatever I learned and I talk about, preach about, is actually possible. And I can safely say it's 10 over 10. It's working. Okay. First things first, Carl Jung says, people are doing the best way they know how based on the level of awareness that they have at that moment. Number two, these people who are mean, ugly, nasty to you, they're not actually mean, ugly, nasty to you. They just carry it deep inside and they project it to anyone who they meet. And nagkataon lang, you were there, then you were the right target. But the only question I'll ask you, like what Buddha would say, if somebody gives you a gift of, anger, being nasty or ugly, receive it. Who does it belong to?
It's yours.
You received it,
now.
then it's yours.
Yeah.
But is it also possible if I give it, say, you know what, Russ, thank you. How are you today? I'd like to know what's going on. I'm just here to support you. Would that be possible? Yeah. Except that we were all wired up, no? When something's not working, resist. Right? And something's not working, when somebody push you, you push back. Versus Aikido, a way of life, harmony. Okay? That's why I really like the word compassion. It's simply because every humanity, according to Carl Jung again, is just doing the best way they know how. So if that is the best way they know how to survive in their life, maybe they have so many things that they experience, then at the moment you were there, you were the perfect target. But the question here is, are you willing to accept it? Or are you willing to go on a higher humanity level, which is, I would always say, compassion?
I love it. And I'll put this down so that it's not mine. It's not mine anymore. But I think, thank you for highlighting, compassion. I think it's not people not really understanding people. It's really people not being compassionate enough. And one of the things that I learned about being compassion is compassion in Latin means to suffer with. So you're basically, putting yourself in a place where you understand the suffering that people is currently enduring. And I do you want to add on to that?
I heard you say the word understand, and perhaps not all of the time you understand, but perhaps maybe accept the reality that might come from is a past experience that I bring into the present. And this is my gift to whoever I meet. And it's completely up to me whether I receive the gift or I just say, you know what? I see you bigger and better than that. Okay? And just allowing yourself to know that everyone who comes into your life, it's either they can be a pain or they can be a lesson to learn.
It's really up to you. It's your choice. And a lot of things will change in your life once you understand that everything is your choice. If you want to build your relationships, it's really up to you. If you want to destroy the relationships around you, it's really up to you, and you have that choice. So thank you for sharing that, Coach. And one thing that I also would like to know more of is in the sense of romantic relationships. Because maybe you might know na I'm recently, I have recently discovered a very new love interest. She's actually watching here. Hi. Hi. But so applying that in a relationship context for the people who are, in their early stages, what do you think is the best advice or like best advices that you could give so that they could take care of their
Okay,
relationships?
so just a background, no? I've been working with people almost every day. Perhaps for the past 15 years, thousands of people worldwide. In terms of romantic relationship, I truly understand that if you want this relationship to work, okay, you need number one, awareness. That the awareness that I must have is my happiness, my behavior, my joy is not dependent on the choice or the behavior of my romantic partner. So which means do not make your day great or not simply because of the choice and the behavior of the other person. It has to be your own happiness and joy that's dependent on you. Okay? That's why the biggest BS that I heard in movie is you complete me, because that's BS.
Yeah, it
Right?
is BS.
Because nobody can complete you. And the reason why a lot of romantic relationships not working anymore is because you come in half person. Okay? The person comes in half person, but it's not gonna be whole. Simply because in the end, okay, we all carry our own shits. You carry your shit, you throw each other shits, and it's not working anymore. So I would always say awareness that this relationship will move forward not because of our love for one another. It's simply because, number one, because I come into this relationship whole and perfect, and you cannot complete me. You come into the relationship hopefully whole and perfect, so that when I misbehave or when there are choices that I don't like or you don't like, they say, that's just him. Doesn't matter. I still love and accept you. Same thing. Okay? And if you notice, what are the major causes of, conflicts with relationships, especially romantic relationship? Expectations, this and that. There will always be upset. There's no perfect. But the imperfection becomes perfect with understanding that, okay, I am not this person. Okay, and this person maybe went through a lot of this today, and all I have to be here is just to accept where this person is, okay, and just love this person no matter what. But you can only do that when you are like that to yourself.
It really, begins and end with yourself talaga.
Still with you, because who you are is what you bring into any relationship in your life. No? So again, for romantic relationship, again, hopefully you have the same awareness. The awareness means that my joy and my peace and my success is not dependent on your choice or your behavior. So if you both have that, okay, everything is bonus. Okay, so that's number one for me. Okay, number two here is the more you build the most loving, accepting, forgiving, kind relationship with yourself, you will bring that to your partner. And that will be, the most beautiful place to be, because you're not dependent on one another. Okay? You're supporting one another, growing each other, moving together simply because you are not dependent on the other person, but your success in this relationship is dependent on how much, again, you accept you, good or bad, forgive you no matter what, but above all, in the most loving relationship with you, because that's what you bring into all of your relationship. If we're talking about romantic relationship, that's what you bring in.
Yeah, and I wanna highlight, because I feel like people are after they hear that, they would practice more of that, become more kind and loving to themselves. But in any kind of relationship, one thing is almost always constant. It's conflicts. So if there is a time of conflict, what are your advices around it? Like, how do they deal with that?
Yeah, there will always be conflict, simply because, again, as human being, we come from, different perception, different, come from, and still, again, awareness. Okay, just be aware when there's conflict. Do not take it personally.
There's this funny story that I think Yanni shared earlier. I think it's Leo, right? So Leo, when they have conflicts, they have a structure. Like before we talk about this conflict right here, I acknowledge you that you're angry, and then I blame you for I blame you for this, I blame you for that, and then I honor you for this and I honor you for that. Like, why do you think? I think it's a really funny way to like handle conflicts. But what do you think you can get out of that, and what are some things that you can add on so people can know how to handle conflicts, especially in a relationship context?
I think it's more of first things first. The conflict happens is your conversation with yourself, right? So let's say something happened and you know you don't like it. Okay, most of the conflict begins with resentment. Okay, especially with the romantic relationship, favorite emotion is anger. Okay, so anger is an appropriate emotion, sakto lang for what we think was said or done was wrong, and we want the other person to pay the price. That's the first level of awareness. You need to understand, okay, may sinabi, may nagawa, tapos sasabihin mo, first, internal conversation, hindi dapat yun eh. Alam niya na yun eh. Mali eh. Anger. Okay? So, normally on a process, you have to listen to your internal conversation. Right? The problem with people who doesn't have awareness, the moment they're angry, freeze, okay, fight, or flight. Most romantic relationship, puro flight. Pag puno na, they fight. And it's irreparable already. Why? Kulang sa awareness. Okay? But the highest awareness that I will have an invitation with you is that the reason why you feel that way, it's simply because, not because of the behavior and the choice of the other person, it's because I have a need to be right, that she's wrong.
Yeah, so it also boils down to ego.
Still me and my ego. And the bigger question here is, do I still want to be in a relationship with this? Or I'm done with this? Diba? As simple as toothpaste. Diba? Cap on, cap out. No? Diba? Parang magpapatayan ba tayo sa toothpaste lang? No? Mabuti ka kasi train ka magsara ng toothpaste. Ako hindi. Diba? So, but because of a simple toothpaste, the big drama happens versus, okay, so it's a simple. Ayaw niya magsara toothpaste, di ako na lang. It's very simple. I mean, it may sound simple, but that's how it is, right? Except that, again, you notice how powerful anger can be, that it will disempower you. Again, I will repeat the definition. Appropriate, saktong emosyon, kasi may sinabing hindi mo nagustuhan, or may ginawang hindi mo nagustuhan at gusto mong gumanti. Claro? So, the first thing I do is I step back, okay? And then the question is, do I still want this relationship or not? So, if I still want this relationship, okay, what do I need to do? A, acceptance. Tapos na, wala akong magawa. F, forgive na kagad. Diba?
Forgiveness
you
na
don't
agad,
even
guys.
have to. Ang problema kasi sa conversation ng anger, can you imagine, no? Kahoy ba to? Okay? Nagpako ka dyan, may sinabi kang hindi maganda, pinako mo na pinako. Okay? And all the harsh words that you said, that you uttered, judgment. Okay? And then nung nagka-reconciliation na, sorry, nag-iyak ka na, syempre tanggalin mo na yung pako, di ba? May lamat na eh. And that's what we don't want. Because what you're pointing out is just your judgment. Okay? And maybe the judgment you have is nakita mo na in the past, or si nanay, si tatay, ganyan, that you bring into the present. Okay? Number two, opinion. That maybe your opinion is different from her opinion. And yet, you want to insist your own opinion. In the end, we all have our own opinion. Okay? Pangatlo is needs. Maybe you have a certain need to be this way and it was not met. But you will insist that. But above all, expectation. Okay? I have this certain expectation. It was not met. And you blame this person. Did that make sense? So, that's a great way of dealing it. But I feel that's kindergarten because there's still blame. Okay? And if I were to do it, maybe I'm very advanced. I recognize, okay, I didn't like it. Okay. Do I still want to be in a relationship? Definitely yes. And maybe ask myself, what is it about me that I reacted that way? What was that little child longing for attention that it showed up that was not given by the person who's supposed to give it to me? Okay. There was a need for this, maybe approval that I didn't get. And last but not the least, it was never about the behavior or the choice, but it was still about I choose that way. And if my path is I want to continue this relationship, forgive right away. I don't even talk about it. I just go directly and hold hands, hug, without talking, making sure that, I love you. I honor, respect you no matter what. If that's the level of people who you are in a relationship with, how would this relationship look like?
Gonna be so healthy. It's I mean, because the external factors, it's not really something that we can avoid. There will always be times that there will be disagreements, but now it's gonna come to a point of compromise that you would care for each other and the love is just overflowing.
More than the compromise, maybe it's really taking full responsibility with what I want. But you have to decide, do I want to continue this relationship? Because if you don't want to continue this relationship, then go on with your anger, go on with your resentment, go on with this. But if you want the opposite, which I want to build, then keep on depositing. As long as, again, your partner is not doing anything illegal, immoral, or life-threatening, you're all good. Okay? This is what I believe. Your romantic relationship is your ultimate soul partner, ba tawag nun?
Soulmate?
Soulmate. Because they will remind you that you have not mastered yourself yet.
Wow. So it's like
The biggest triggers are with them.
yeah,
Right?
like the big tests.
I mean, some people can joke around you with this story, but if the romantic relationship is saying that to you, it's a different point. Okay, so which means, wow, they're here. No? And that's why I would always say, my path and my invitation is personal mastery. And you will only know that you are in personal mastery when you know you're putting in a lot of compassion towards others because you put that into you. Okay? And the ultimate, highest form of relationship is really forgiving.
That I can totally relate to that. Thank you so much. I think there's so many things to unpack from what you said. 3 things that I really liked about it. Number 1, it's really you asking, what is this? Or,
What is this situation telling me
about
What
me?
are these triggers?
Yeah.
Because the moment you start speaking it out and pointing it to other person, that's what you call projection. So let's imagine.
And almost always, we're always
Let's
projecting.
imagine that's the screen. Okay, this is the projection. Saan nanggaling yung pinapalabas? But here's the thing. When we start blaming the other person because of what she said, what she did, you're actually pointing at the screen when in fact the screen has nothing to do with the situation, but has something to do with the source of the projector, which is my computer. So again, hard concept to swallow. Simply because, again, humanity, we were all wired up to blame, guilt, and shame. It's a programming that people would rather die than let go of it and be in the most beautiful relationship.
I love it. And another thing that I wanted to highlight, and it's so funny that you mentioned at the last part, was it's really about forgiving. Like, ask yourself, do I still want a relationship with this person? And if the answer is yes, then do something about it.
The most important question that people don't want to answer is, who's the matter with you?
Whoa. Okay. So that's a phrase that a lot of people they're hearing it for the first time. So can you dive a little bit deeper? Just explain to us, like, what does that mean? Like, who is the matter with you?
In the end, you bring yourself to anyone and anything that you do.
Mhm.
Okay? But the question here is, what kind of person you bring yourself into whatever you do? Is it a person that's full of excitement in life?
Oh.
And the excitement in life comes from directly related to people who you are in relationship with. So even though know how beautiful the day is, how beautiful what's going on is, but you came from home and you heard something that you didn't like, then that's what you bring to the plate.
Yeah.
So the moment you start recognizing that, start releasing that, start forgiving that, and reframing it and growing from it, then whatever you do in your life, you bring yourself and it creates more of what you want. So therefore, if I don't feel good and if I don't feel right with that, whatever is going on, I put a pause and review. Okay, who's the matter with me? Oh wow, I just realized I read a comment from our chat room and I felt it was wrong. I felt it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was bad, and I carried that within me.
So now you become a person who's like just spreading out hate and all these negative vibes. So that's why the who is the matter with you is a very powerful question.
It is. And in fact, for me, in all of my coaching conversation, especially a lot of people come to me about money.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I would also say money is not about money, but it's the energy that you carry every day. But the energy that is putting you down is actually, it's either your past relationship that you still carry up until now, or your current relationship that you still carry at a very heavy stage of your life.
One thing that I want to highlight, because you mentioned it also applies with money. Like the relationship that we have with our money, it's also reflecting the relationship that we have to ourselves. That maybe money's not coming in because we don't have much energy that allows money to come in. Before we dive into that, I want to ask, with the relationship part, one thing that I think really hooked me in terms of the business side of what you do is when you say we're not really in the life insurance business. We're in the relationship building business. What does relationship building business mean?
I create my financial blessing through working with people, which means that's what's called leverage. Okay, so if I'm very good in terms of building relationship with people, then that translates to the amount of money that we have. Okay, so what I always see in our team, if everyone's relationship is a level 8, 9, and 10, it will translate to the business. But the moment there's something's going on in the business, I'm not going to check on the market. I'm not going to check on the company. I'm not going to check on anything else. I'm going to check on what's the energy, what's the spirit, what's the relationship, what's going on that this result is not showing up the way we want it. And the funniest part is the moment we start cleaning, the moment you start clearing, the moment you start taking care of making sure that the connection, the energy, okay, is as happy as excited because we cleared everything, result will just follow. So I would always say, people would trust you to the degree of how you keep your relationship. And relationship is all about trust. And how do we know that we can trust each other is based on the commitment that we have to make it work no matter what.
I love that you highlighted the word trust. Like, trust is one of the biggest components, or the main components in a relationship. Probably some people would also argue that it's more important than, it's as important as love. like the word trust. And one of the things that I want to talk about is you're building relationship, and I think I learned this from you as well. Like you're only going to be able to build relationship based on the level of trust that you're also building with that person. How do you build or how do you retain like trust in a relationship, especially in the business context?
Let me qualify first, no? It has to start again with you. How much do you trust you? Okay, meaning, can you keep your word? Right? And this is one thing I learned, no? Most people who are not in a health that they want, the fitness level they want, because they cannot keep their word, di ba? Magda-diet
Ouch.
na ako. Di ba? Beginning now, no rice, no this, no that. And then, konting temptation lang, wala na. In that manner, di ba? You cannot even trust yourself to keep your word to you. Okay? Most of the broke people I know is because, again, they cannot even be trusted with what? Being on time. Because at the end of the day, trust begins with, how can I trust me? But if I trust me fully because I said so, not because I feel like doing it, or not because I want to do it, I'll do it because I said so. Then you bring the trust level to anyone and everyone you meet. This is the most important part. Okay? I'll guarantee you. Okay? There will be a lot of times that people will actually break their trust with you. Meaning, they have commitment, they won't make it. Tapos ni hay ni ho, wala. Okay? Most important part here is you start still building relationship with people who breaks their trust with you. Why? Because you know, with or without them, you make it happen because you trust you to make it happen for you. Which means for me, the only person who I can 100% trust my life with is myself. Because will there be a time, maybe Alec, that I'm gonna betray you? Maybe.
Hopefully not, but
Maybe.
probably yes.
Okay, I might say something that you feel it was inappropriate. And I'm okay with it simply because at the end of the day, the only person's trust I need to build is trust me. Because why? If I get hurt with other people, it's okay because I know the only person who I can trust is me. So this means if you have trust issues with other people, because you have trust issues with yourself.
Wow. It's so amazing that we kind of touched on like the trust issues part, because that's also something that a lot of relationships, even in the romantic sense, has a lot of problem with. Like wala pang problema, pero meron ng parang pagdududa agad-agad kasi maraming trust issues. And I've never really, I don't know a concept that really tackles onto that, because maybe there is none. Maybe the only way.
I'll give you Don Miguel Ruiz. Okay, it's called The Mastery of Love, and what I like about them that is you can only truly, in all sincerity, say that you love this person is when you leave this person alone to be who she wants to be, even if you don't like it. To be with somebody else, it doesn't matter because it's not about you, but it's the choice of that person, which means it's still you. No? Love Mastery by Don Miguel Ruiz. Beautiful. Because at the end of the day, I cannot stop others to do what they're supposed to do behind me. Right? You'll never know. But will you allow yourself to live praning or,
It's your choice.
It's your choice because you did not trust. Right? And of course, we'd always say trust comes with responsibility. Okay? And meaning, I am responsible to you, which is I keep my word, but I can never be responsible for you. And when the time comes, when the other person or maybe you, okay, fouled up, can you pick yourself up fast so you can actually trust yourself again?
Thank you. That was wonderful. And one of the things that I remember, especially when people are dealing with trust issues, is like there's a tree, right? And then there's a branch, and then the bird would come to this branch, and it would stay there, and you would hope that please don't leave me. If you're the tree, you're just hoping that please don't leave me. Stay here. I like you. But you can never really know when, if the bird might stay or not. But the only thing that you can hold on to is, can you still stand as a tree, whole, as something as whole, even if the bird flies away?
That's why your job here is to feel whole and perfect without the external factor. Okay, in Don Miguel Ruiz's book, Love Mastery, the metaphor of a perfect relationship is the magic kitchen. Okay, so imagine you are a magic kitchen. Okay, a magic kitchen means is you can have anything and everything in quality and quantity of all the food that you want in the world. And here's the thing, you forgot about it, and it's been 3 days. You're starving to death. And somebody knocks on your floor, okay? And said, I have a pizza here, which is your favorite. And say, I can have this pizza, but once you receive this pizza, I own you. You will be my slave. Okay? Because you're starving and you don't have any food, will you allow this person? Because that's the only food that you have, definitely. Right? So which means you bring people into your life, whoever they are, because you feel they have the pizza to satisfy you with the food that you want. Now, reverse. Okay? Do you always remember who you are? You're a magic kitchen. You have everything and anything that you want, that your wish is my command. And here comes somebody knocking at the door. Hey, I have a pizza. Okay? And you can have this if, I can be your slave, which means you do whatever I want to do.
No, thank
Exactly.
you.
So can you imagine, you bring yourself in a relationship wherein you know who you are, you're whole and complete, and you do not allow anyone, to put you down, okay, to downgrade yourself simply because you need that pizza. Because no, I'm whole and complete, and then you come inside me, when you come to be in relationship with me, it's just a bonus.
It's really boiling down again to reminding yourself of who you truly are, and you are, someone who's amazing, who's complete, and you are capable of loving because you're also full of love because you are loved, right?
I think it's your only job here is to fall in love with you.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Because when you fall in love with you, the world will, and even if some won't, it's okay because I'm in love with me.
Yeah. So here, guys, I think that's very, very powerful. Understanding that your only job in this world is to fall in love with yourself.
You know why?
Why?
Because when you are in love with yourself, it will naturally overflow to anyone and everyone who you meet. And even if they don't love you back, you're okay because you're whole and complete. And if they love you back, bonus na lang.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of those, Coach. I think this is something that I did not expect, that we can talk about relationships in this kind of context and bring so much awareness and power to every individual who's listening right now. I think for everyone, maybe they came in, I want to learn about relationships. But all they got was the only thing that we can do here is build a relationship that you have with yourself. And it's super powerful. Thank you so much.
That's why, we always use Greatest Love of All. It's a beautiful song. But if you notice the last few lines, but if by chance that special place, which means your dreams, your aspirations, your goal, your special someone, leads you to a lonely place. And it will always, believe me, the only solution is find your strength in love. And hopefully that love is not from outside, that love is from within. And I call that agape love, meaning love you, accept you, forgive you no matter what. Because that's what He gave to us. He gave His life for us. And how come you're not giving it to you? So that you can be a gift to anyone and everyone who you meet in your life. That agape love. And that's the only work I want to work on myself. And the beautiful part here, it translates to my health, translate to my relationship, translated to all lot of money. Beautiful reminder.
I love that. Yeah, that deserves a quick clap. Thank you so much for sharing that, Coach Russ. And again, every single time that I get to like have a conversation with you, it's just amazing. And I know that a lot of people will also get inspired with this episode. So thank you so much for being an inspiration to a lot of people and also showing that unconditional love can exist. So thank you. You inspire me. You motivate me. You just make me want to become a better version of myself because of everything that you're doing. So thank you. So this has been amazing. We usually do real talk at the end of it, but we already did that. But so yeah, let's still do it. I'm thinking, I'm trying to think of ways that I could ask more questions. But yeah, so here, of course, we have a small segment here on Small Talk. So it's basically just answering quick questions. So I'm gonna ask a question. You can answer with just one word, one phrase,
Awesome,
or one sentence.
Awesome.
So are you ready, Coach?
Yeah.
All right.
Bring it on.
So okay. So first question is, what is love?
Agape. Unconditional to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I'm not sure if I asked this question before, but let's ask it again anyway. So second question is, if you were to be an animal, what animal would you be?
Right now it's dog.
Why? Okay. Well, I want to hear it. Why? Dog?
Unconditional love. I mean, super. I just feel so much love. Okay, right now I have dog that, I just feel so much love. So I hope I get to have that love with myself as I'm still working on it. That they give you so much unconditional love. So
I love it. Still agape. Gaston is a very cute dog.
Yeah.
You guys gotta check it out. And maybe you have some newer answers for this, but I want to hear what's a recent bad advice that you have received.
Recent bad advice that I receive. I think just go for it no matter what, which means even if it's unethical. Because this is something that people expect from me. I was told to go do it, and definitely I know my values. I know who I am, and I don't really care whatever external recognition or rewards I'll be getting, because for me, sleep at night is more important, and being in integrity with who I am is what I live for. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't go for external things. I love where I'm at right now, and if I get it, bonus, and if I don't get it, doesn't matter.
So just don't go for it, or at least take time to see if you really want to go for it. So my last question, Coach, would be, what's one great advice that you recently received?
Great advice I recently received is, just have fun. Okay, get excited with life. I think it's okay not to be okay. Recently, my mom passed away, and I felt people around me were judging me that I am in denial. And they called, you know what, you can be okay even if it's not okay. We still love you. We still accept you. Good reminder, that, there are a lot of people who can still love me and accept me even if I don't show up the perfect Russ that they want to be. But I know deep inside, it was a good advice, and I'll take it and always remember it and be as authentic as I can be.
I love it. Thank you so much, Coach. It's okay to not be okay. Always remember that. It's really, really powerful. And again, Coach Russ, thank you for every single moment that you share with us. It's been amazing. I think our live audience enjoyed that as well, right? Yes. So yeah, hopefully we can catch you more episodes. We'll be having a lot more recordings definitely soon. And but again, thank you so much, Coach Russ, for being here. Please go ahead, invite them. Do you have any programs? Do you have anything that or if they want to learn more about the things that you do, where can they find you?
Okay, right now I'm on TikTok, and I really enjoy putting out contents there. It's RUSSJUSON, and then I guess it's connected to Reels, Facebook, all of that platform available outside. So send me a message. It's me who will answer you, really. I have all the time to be in relationship with you. Please, I love it. I love to be in relationship with you.
Which is super crazy because Coach Russ does a lot of things, but he still has the time to reply to every single one that messages him. It's crazily abundant. But again, thank you so much, Coach Russ, and thank you to everyone who's watching. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you do, go ahead and share this on your Instagram. Do not forget to tag me at Alec Cuenca and tag Coach Russ at Russ Juson. And if you like this podcast, go ahead and share this with your friends, because we know that this will not just save your life, but also the lives of the people that you love and care about. So go ahead and share this podcast, share this with everyone that you know. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are the best. You guys are the reason why I keep on doing this. All of the things that I'm also getting emotional right now, in case you don't see it, but you guys are the main reason why I still keep doing what I'm doing. We're on to bigger things. I have a lot of things prepared for you guys. So keep on watching, keep on supporting the podcast. And thank you so much. This is Alec Cuenca, and this is Small Talk, Small Conversations with Huge Impact, only on Spotify, powered by Anchor. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.